Good morning, third graders. It's Miss Lee, and today is Friday, April 24th. Today we are going to complete the assignment we started yesterday by reading a myth. The myth is called King Midas and the Golden Touch. This is a Greek myth. And we're going to use this myth to continue learning about how the chapters of a story work together and how the events or things that happen build on other events in the story. A myth is a folk tale that explains why something is the way it is. Many myths focus on qualities such as good and evil. Let's take a look at some of these words that we're going to be reading today and go ahead and highlight these or underline or circle them, and we're going to talk about what each one of these words mean. Right now, if you do not have your reading packet in front of you, please pause this video, get your reading packet and your pencil ready. First, we're going to look up the word ancient. I'm just going to go to dictionary.com, type in the word ancient, and it gives us the meaning. Ancient is long past, a very old, long time ago. Ancient times, it just means something that happened long ago in the past. The next word is immediately. So I'm going to search up the word immediately. Whoop. No. Here we go. Immediately means without delay or at once. Something that happens right now. Our next word is doubts. We'll search up the word doubts. To doubt something means to be uncertain about it or to question it, that it's unlikely, or you hesitate to believe something will happen, or you don't trust it. And our last word, wondrous. Wondrous. Whoop. Wondrous. That means wonderful or remarkable. Notice that the base of this word, wondrous, is like wonderful. That's a good way to recognize what words could possibly mean, looking at the root word or the base word or the certain parts of the word that you already know the meaning of. Okay, so today you're going to read King Midas and the Golden Touch. Notice it has chapters. Chapter 1 is the king's wish. Chapter 2 is Midas's golden touch. Chapter 3, too much of a good thing. Chapter 4, washing the greed away. Go ahead and pause the video. Well, actually, before you do that, let's talk really quick about some different things. As you're reading, take note of the illustrations or the pictures, and you also want to remember to connect the chapter headings with what you're reading. So when you look at chapter 1 and it says the king's wish, we know that in this section, the king will make a wish, right? We can tell that just by reading the title, or the heading, I'm sorry. Chapter 2, Midas's golden touch. So we know in chapter 2, something is going to happen that has to do with the king touching something else. And if we read chapter 3, we see it says too much of a good thing. So this must have to do with a good thing happening, but using too much of that good thing. And then chapter 4 says washing the greed away. So we can tell that in this chapter we're going to learn about how getting rid of, washing means getting rid of. Greed is when you're stingy or you want all of something. So we're going to be reading in this chapter about how the king will be getting rid of wanting something all for himself. So just take note as you're reading of the titles, the headings, because it'll help you to understand or comprehend what you're reading. Go ahead and pause this video and read King Midas and the Golden Touch. After you finish reading, let's take a look at the questions. Now we're going to make note of the questions and the key words, what the questions are asking you to find the answer to. So question 1 says, what do you learn about King Midas in chapter 1? Please make sure you go back to chapter 1 to find the answer to this question. It has to come from chapter 1. And we're looking for King Midas. So go ahead and pause your video, go back to chapter 1, and read what you learn about King Midas in chapter 1. After you found the answer to number 1, let's go to number 2. How do the events in chapter 2 build on those from chapter 1? So you have to make a connection here. Chapter 2 something happens because of what happens in chapter 1. Make sure you're thinking carefully about this answer before you choose. Number 3. Read this sentence from chapter 3. Midas was beginning to have some doubts about his wondrous new power. What caused Midas to begin questioning the power? He was so happy about it in chapter 2, but something terrible must happen to make him think that he doesn't want that special power anymore. That is what you need to choose. Something happens that's not a good thing. So choose your answer, and we'll go on to number 4. Look at this sentence from chapter 2. Midas's golden touch turned the fruit into a glittering ball of gold. What is the meaning of glittering in this context? So what I like to do here is try to replace the word with these words to see which one means the same. So Midas's golden touch turned the fruit into a round ball of gold, a soft ball of gold, a shiny ball of gold, or a rough ball of gold. Choose the answer for the meaning of the word glittering. Number 5 has 2 parts, part A and part B. Now we know before we even get started with these two that they must be connected. So the part A asks you, how does chapter 4 build on what happened in chapter 3? So you have to choose something. One of these answers happens in chapter 4, but it has to be connected to chapter 3. Choose your answer and then continue. Part B. Which 2 details from the story best support your answer from part A? So you have to choose 2 details from the story that support your answer in part A. Make sure you choose 2 answers, and they have to be connected to whatever you chose for part A. If you have not answered this question, please pause your video and answer both part A and part B. After number 5, let's take a look at number 6. Which sentence in chapter 1 best helps you to understand the king's sadness in chapter 4? So in chapter 4, the king is sad about something, but chapter 1 helps us to understand what he was sad about. So you need to choose one of these as your answer. Pause the video and choose an answer. Now we come to the writing portion. The first thing that you're going to do is plan your response. Now this is just where you make a plan of how you're going to answer the question. What important events happened to King Midas in each chapter? It says to use a chart to organize your thoughts before you write. Now, you can do that on a separate sheet of paper, and you would just make a chart like what we would make in class. And you could separate it by chapters, and you can write your answer in the boxes. So chapter 1, what important thing happens to King Midas? Chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, all of the important things that happened to King Midas. And then you can begin to write your answer, and you'll write your answer on these lines provided. How does King Midas change from the beginning of the story to the end of the story? Include the events from the story that lead to the change. So the first thing you have to tell is King Midas at the beginning and then you would type your answer or write your answer. But at the end of the story, King Midas, and then give your answer. This is a good format for you to use to answer this type of question. Go ahead and complete your extended response, and I would like for you to please take a picture of your response and send it to me in a text message so I can see your work. You will get extra points for that. The key word, the mystery word for today's video is chapter. If you text me the word chapter, you will get points on the leaderboard because I'll know that you've watched the video for today. You'll get extra points for sending me a picture or a screenshot or, a screenshot of what your work looks like. You can either text that to me from my phone number that you have included on your NTI packets, or you can send it through the Remind text messages on your parent's phone. So that's, there's one more part down here. Why do authors organize stories into chapters? How does it help the reader? This is just a spot for you to write what you've learned about how chapters build on each other and how they make the story develop or unfold. And you can write your answer there. I hope you all have a wonderful Friday. I miss you. I want you to have a great weekend. Make sure that you are up to date on all of your reading work, and I will be calling or texting to check on you today. I hope you have a great Friday. Love you all. Bye.